Hey everyone, this is Rivio from Loops, and today I'm going to show you some really useful tips, tricks, and hacks that you can use in FL Studio to speed up your workflow. So let's get straight into it. I want to start off with the really simple stuff, and to be honest, FL Studio is really easy to understand, but there are some things you can miss out really easily even when you're producing for years. So let's start off with one of the most important feature in FL Studio that you need to learn right now. And I know most of the people are struggling with this. So for example, I'm gonna delete these hat patterns. So what I want to do is I want to paste the hat patterns just the way it is pasted in this bar without leaving any space in between and every pattern being on time. So what I can do is I can select the pattern and drag it over. But to make it more simple, I can just select it. I can just select my pattern, and so most people are gonna go like Control plus C and Control plus V, which is gonna paste your pattern anywhere on the screen. So to make it more efficient with the copy paste, just select the pattern you want to select and just make sure the pattern is quantized. If the pattern is out of time, the pattern that you're going to paste is gonna start from the very point the pattern you are pasting ends in. So I'll show you an example, but first let's press Ctrl plus B, and as you can see, it got pasted right after the first pattern and it's on time. So let me show you what I mean when I say it needs to be quantized. So for example, I extended this pattern just one bar, and now if I press Ctrl plus B, it's gonna paste the next pattern just where the first pattern ended. So keep that in mind and you should be good to go. Next, we have the consolidate feature that comes in FL Studio 20. So if you're on an older version, you will have to use some other process, but if you're using FL Studio 20, then this is gonna come in handy. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna select a pattern that you want to consolidate, and then you're going to press Ctrl plus Shift plus Alt plus C. And as you can see, this window appears, and this window allows you to consolidate. So let's press start. And as you can see, the clip has been consolidated. The MIDI has been transferred to an audio file, and now let's take a listen. Let's take a listen to the original. So that's another tip. Next, we're going to talk about scrolling faster in FL Studio. If you want to scroll horizontally really fast, you're gonna hold Control and you're gonna use the wheel on your mouse, and you can scroll easily horizontally. And in order to scroll vertically, you're gonna have to go all the way up here and you need to scroll here. But what you can do is hold down Alt, and with your mouse you can just stretch and unstretch the whole project. So that's another tip. Next up, we're going to talk about inserting and grouping tracks. So just in case I want to insert a track between track 5 and track 7. So there's already a track, but I want one more because why not? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna right click on track 6 and press I. So in that way I inserted a track. So once again I'm gonna insert one more track, and once again I'm gonna press right click and G to group it with the above track. And the tracks that I added, I'm gonna use them to group it with the above track. So I'm gonna group 7 and 8 to track 6. So let's click on track 7 and press G, and track 8 and press G, and that way track 7 and track 8 are grouped to track 6, and you can just fold them, unfold them, and make your project look way cleaner. And once again you can just degroup them by pressing right clicking and pressing G. Next is a shortcut that is going to help you largely when you are running out of CPU and you just want to consolidate projects, and not the way I showed before, but now you want to consolidate them in a different way. So for example, this is my 808. Pretty hard. And what I want to do is I want to consolidate them without any effects on them. So I have a fast distortion, a sound goodizer, and M tune to know what key my 808 is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute all these effects and I want to consolidate this track. So what I can do is I can press on this record button, go to this menu, this recording, and press here. But instead of doing all that, I can just select my mixer track, press on the record button, and press Alt plus R, and it will show up this menu. So let's render. It has been rendered, and as you can see, it has been rendered without any effects. So if you listen to it, it has no effects. And let's link it. And activate all our effects. So that's how you can work fast and save CPU at the same time if you have heavy plugins running on the background. So now we're in the piano roll, and this is one of my favorite tips because I have been producing music for around 6 years, and it was just recently around next year that I learned about this tip, and trust me, it's going to save you a lot of time. So in order to bring these notes into one key, what I'll have to do is grab each note individually and drag them. But what if you don't need to do that? And all you can do is Control A and select all the notes. You can just press Alt plus K and all the notes are in the same key. A window like this might appear and you can just select the keys you want it to go, like as you can see. But I would prefer you keep it in one note because that's the whole purpose of this shortcut. So next tip comes in handy when you're adding a new sample into your playlist and you have to link it to a mixer track. So I'm gonna drag these Cashmere cinematic drums. So in order to drag these cinematic drums into the mixer playlist, I'll need to go in and insert a number that is free. But what you can do is select the audio clip you want to link to the mixer, like this, open mixer track, and I'm gonna select mixer track 31 because it's free, and I'm gonna press Ctrl plus L, and that will instantly link my drums to the mixer track. So that comes in really handy because you don't have to once again scroll around. And yeah, if you are like me, you probably forget where this school sample is from or what is the origin of this sample, and you want to find the sample library just because you think there might be more cool samples. So for example, this snare. So I added the snares and now I don't know where I added them from. So what I can do to find it out is I'm gonna open my browser. I'm gonna click on my sample and I'm gonna drag my sample into the browser. And in that way I know where the sample is from. So this sample is from the Tommy Jaden 78910 sample pack, which is a really sick pack. And yeah, this is the origin of the sample. So the next tip is definitely gonna save you some, and I'm sure you had no idea you could do this easily instead of it being a hassle. Just in case you want your 808 and your closed hats in one pattern, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to the 808, select copy it and go in a new pattern, paste it, and you're gonna go again to hats. You're gonna copy it, go to your new pattern, and then paste it. But instead of these, what you can do is you're gonna select your 808 pattern and your close hats pattern, and you're gonna press Ctrl plus G, and in that way you just created a merged pattern. So this is how it's gonna sound like. Next, I'm gonna show you a really secret plugin that can replicate the effects of RC20. I'm sure you have heard of RC20 or maybe used it as well some cases, but it's an expensive plugin. So if you want to replicate the effects of RC20 without RC20 and that too while using a stock FL plugin, in order to access the plugin, we're going to go into the browser, plugin presets, effects, all the way down to patcher, and all the way down to XUlean, and then we have our plugin, and we're gonna select humanizer and drag it to our mixer track. So first, listen to the sound without humanizer. Now with humanizer. So this is a secret plugin that you can use, and it's not just humanizer. There are so many more plugins. You just have to click on the presets, and you can have EQs for drums. Then you can just add it on your own. We have the, I don't know how what it does, but there are a lot of options to choose from, and you can just explore instead of buying expensive plugins. And I would really advise trying out these plugins because they are made with really some effort. Next is a big mixer track hack, and I'm going to show you how you can duplicate tracks, how you can duplicate mixer tracks without having to drag individual plugins into the mixer track you'd want to clone it to. So for example, let's say I want to clone all the effects I have in mixer track 7 into mixer track 44. Instead of having to drag every plugin, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on mixer track 7, and then I'm going to go to files, and then I'll have my option here, save mixer track as. I'm going to hold it down, and I'm going to bring it to mixer track 43 and release my left mouse button. And there you go, you have all your effects that you had in mixer track 7 now in mixer track 43. So that's gonna ease up a lot of stuff. Next is once again a piano roll hack, and it's gonna be useful if you want to make your sounds more human and less robotic or computerized. So for example, these hi-hats, very static and boring. So we're gonna select Ctrl plus A, select all the hi-hats, and then we're gonna press Alt plus R, and that will bring up the randomizer menu, but it's not the pattern randomizer, it's the levels randomizer. To show you in full effect how it works, let me bring out this tab, and once again let's press Alt plus R, and as you can see, it has already randomized the pan velocity of these hi-hats. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move around and pan them according to our own will. You can just go all the way rogue or just be soft on it. I would prefer going soft, and also you can mingle with the release, the velocity, and much more. So let's listen how it sounds like now. Much more interesting than it was before. So at last we have one of my most favorite, and I can't say it's only my favorite because every person I know who makes music would definitely say that this is their favorite hack in FL Studio because this has saved lives. I mean, not exactly lives, but it's really handy if you know this technique, and it's something that you already know but you are not doing it right. So I'm going to show you what you're missing. So for example, let's go for general, and as you can see, I have my undo history maximum levels to 999. You might be wondering what this means, but let me show you an example. Let me bring this all the way down. Let me bring this all the way down to 6. And I'm going to show you what happens when I do that. So I'm going to delete 6 patterns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or one more. So now when I'm going to press Ctrl plus Alt plus Z, it's going to undo it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 times. And if I keep undoing this, it's going to redo it and not keep undoing it over and over. So let's do that again. So let's try this out again, but this time with 999 maximum undo levels. Let's go. Once again, Control plus Alt plus Z. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, as you can see. Because I didn't do anything before that, it's gonna redo it. But this is a definite lifesaver if you are doing some experiments with your project and you just lost something that you have no idea how to get back to it. So it's very useful. This will be it for today's video, and if you like this kind of videos and if you would like me to continue making tutorials like this, please be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and also comment down below what kind of videos you'd like to see next. So until next time, see you.